Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Friday, September 3rd, 2021. We have a couple of quiet days expected coming up in terms of fire potential impacts and really into the first of next week, but today some breezy winds along the Snake River Plain and some isolated thunderstorms lingering just in eastern Utah and up into western Wyoming. Smoke still hanging around across the central part of the Great Basin. A closer look at the afternoon smoke for today and tomorrow shows a smoke mainly over northern and central Nevada and up into northern Utah today, becoming a little more concentrated over northern Nevada tomorrow, but decreasing a bit over Utah. Yesterday we had a pretty active day, a late day actually, in the evening hours. Some thunderstorms rolled into southeast Idaho, western Wyoming, and northern and northeast Utah. These storms were on the wet side, and also these storms down further south over the southern Utah mountains. Initial attack remains light, with new fires popping up with some of the lightning activity we've had over the last couple of days, and then a few fires up north. Precipitation percent of normal shown here for the past 7 days on the left and 30 days on the right. A wet couple of days here in Utah, especially across the south. This doesn't show yesterday's precipitation further north, but a good wetting event there across the south and east. And then the past 30 days again showing a really healthy monsoon for the month of August over Utah and up into eastern Idaho and western Wyoming. Still very dry over Nevada and southwest Idaho. ERCs are quite low across Utah and up into western Wyoming on the heels of that precipitation, but very high values over Idaho and especially western Nevada, where those values are above the 97th percentile in a few areas. Closer look here at southwest Wyoming. Those values are above normal for the time of year, and with the warm and dry atmosphere expected in the next couple of days, those values will continue to rise. And for Utah, again, those values are below normal for the time of year with the precip that we've had there. And again, just comparing where we were this time last year with those blue dots, we were setting historical records this time last year, and so we're not setting up at all for the same type of fall we had in Utah as last year. This morning satellite imagery showing pretty dry conditions across the Great Basin, just some lingering moisture in place over western Wyoming and eastern Utah for those isolated thunderstorms today, but dry elsewhere. We'll start to see a ridge build in for warm and dry conditions. So again, dry today, no high risk expected anywhere. Isolated thunderstorms possible here, western Wyoming, northeast Utah, and the higher elevations of far eastern Utah. And the wind gusts on the right showing some breezy conditions over the Snake River Plain this afternoon. On Saturday, we really start to get into just a mild, weather-wise anyway, warming atmosphere, light winds, and just generally dry conditions with no high risk. So on Saturday, light winds area-wide, low relative humidities. This is a pretty dry air mass coming in, so single-digit RHs over Nevada and low teens elsewhere. On Sunday, the ridge really strengthens over the Great Basin for warming conditions, warming and drying conditions, but no high risk. So once again, light winds pretty much everywhere, some slightly elevated winds over the central Idaho mountains, and warming temperatures, highs in the low 90s over Nevada and right near 90 in Utah. 3-day precip totals are very light, just showing some the precip that's possible today over western Wyoming and eastern Utah. As we go into next week on Labor Day, a really nice, warm, dry day. No high risk triggers. Not expecting really any wind, just warm and dry. That warm and dry pattern continues into Tuesday. Light winds, warming temperatures, low relative humidities. And more of the same on Wednesday. We will start to see the beginnings of a trough developing over the Pacific Northwest, but continued warm and dry conditions on Wednesday. On Thursday, that trough will develop and move into the Pacific Northwest. This will increase winds across the Great Basin, especially over Nevada, and will also draw up another round of moisture from the southwest. So we expect thunderstorms to increase over the southern Great Basin on Thursday. In fact, we do have some of those PSAs turning to green with as those storms are expected to be wet starting on Thursday. So 7-day precip totals shown here. Really looking for the light precip in the short term, just today over here over the far eastern Great Basin, and then this precip moving into the southern tip of the Great Basin is expected late in the work week next week. And the extended forecast for September 10th through the 16th, putting the bullseye of heat over the central U.S., but still very warm over the Great Basin, and bringing us an above normal chance for precip into the most of the Great Basin, including Nevada and western Utah. So we'll see if we've got another little monsoon kind of surge here expected for the middle of the month. Not expecting to see any big troughs moving through from the Pacific Northwest just yet. This concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.